It is Sunday, and I am simplifying cooking for the week ahead with some easy ingredient prep and make ahead meals. I published a Sunday reset video last month, and a lot of you reached out and said it was really helpful. So I am going to do one once a month for the time being, just to share some ideas on how to prep ingredients and get the kitchen ready for scratch-made cooking during a busy week. I am not much of a meal planner. I find that whenever I make a meal plan, life gets too complicated and I can't even stick with the plan to begin with. So what I like to do is make a few ingredients or prepare a few ingredients that can be used in versatile ways. So no matter what the week or what the day has in store, I have food that's already ready to go and can be easily combined. So first, I am frying up some homemade bacon in a cast iron skillet, and I'll be using this in a variety of ways, which you'll see in this video. You can get the recipe for homemade bacon over my blog at moonandmagnolia.com. First up, I am going to make some mini egg cups for a grab-and-go breakfast, because breakfast this time of year when school is in session is the hardest meal of the day because there's not much time. So I'm just giving these eggs a wash. I live on what I like to call a quote suburban homestead, but I do not have chickens. So I do get eggs from someone who has chickens, and they need a good washing before I can use them. What I like about things like mini egg cups or a quiche, for example, is it's a great way to use up ingredients that you have, because on this particular Sunday, I decided to not go grocery shopping because I want to use up what I have rather than buy anything new and bring it into my kitchen and clutter it up. So I am mixing together 12 eggs because I have a few dozen in the fridge that need to be used. And here I am putting some water in a dish and putting it in the oven while it preheats. I recently read that if you have steam in the oven when you cook eggs, it will prevent a skin from developing, and spoiler alert, it worked beautifully. And here returns the bacon. So I'm using a little bit of the bacon that I fried up a few minutes ago, and I am chopping it into bite-sized pieces, like bacon bit-sized pieces, to put in these little mini egg cups. You can use anything that you have on hand. Sausage, you can use any vegetables you want. I also have some Parmesan cheese that I'm going to add into them. I'm simply just spraying a little mini muffin tin, and then I am putting the bacon and the cheese in the bottom of each cup and filling it up with the egg mixture. Now for the eggs, I added a little bit of milk and adobo to season them. And just a little hack for getting the egg mixture into the muffin tin, use a gravy ladle because it has a spout, which makes it really easy to pour right in there. I often try to avoid non-stick cookware. I really like to cook in cast iron or stainless steel, but I have found that a non-stick muffin tin like this for things like mini egg cups is really helpful. And when I'm preparing a lot of ingredients or foods at one time, it's really helpful to have something non-stick that I don't have to worry too much about spending time cleaning. Now for the rest of the bacon, I decided to chop it up into little bacon bits so I can use it on salads and baked potatoes. I'll get to that ingredient prep in a minute, but these little egg cups turned out so good. The steam in the oven is definitely game changer. It was my first time trying that, and one of my complaints about things like quiche and egg cups, for example, is they get a brown skin around the edges, and I really don't like the way that tastes or the texture of that, and they did not get that at all with the steam in the oven. So that is definitely one of my go-to tricks now for making eggs in the oven. It is September and the temperatures are, at least for now, cooling off here in southeastern North Carolina, and I'm starting to crave some warmer, heartier foods, and baked potatoes definitely fit that bill. And what I like about making baked potatoes in advance is, one, baked potatoes take a long time. They take like an hour or more in the oven. So if you make them in advance, you don't have to worry about that on busy weeknights, but also they're pretty versatile because you can doctor them up however you want them, or I even sometimes just chop them up and fry them lightly and add them with some sort of protein and vegetables, so they're pretty versatile. Now, the order in which I filmed this is different than the order in which I put the video together. So you'll see the egg cups there while I'm prepping the potatoes, even though you already saw me package them up a minute ago. To make these potatoes, I preheated the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I poked a number of holes in the potatoes with a fork and baked them for about 20 minutes. So after 20 minutes, I pulled them out and I added a little olive oil and sea salt to both sides. And then I made sure that they were flipped to the other side when I put them back in the oven for about 30, maybe 40 minutes until they were done. And I know that baked potatoes seem really simple, and often we're looking for these like new and revolutionary kitchen ideas to prep our meals on Sundays. But really, I have found that simple is best, especially when I'm making a lot of food at one time. What can I put in the oven that takes 1 hour and that is easy to make, but that I can use in multiple ways throughout the week? And nothing tastes better with a baked potato than a salad. And my husband's really on an iceberg lettuce kick right now. So I got some organic iceberg lettuce, and I like to pre-chop and wash lettuce so that way salads are easy to make. I like salads. I hate making them because I don't like chopping all that stuff. So for a Sunday meal prep, it's really helpful to chop all your salad ingredients and wash it so you can throw it together whenever you want it. The trick with chopping and washing lettuce ahead of time is to make sure that it is as dry as you can get it. So I like to use a salad spinner to get the majority of the water out. Salad spinners kind of drive me crazy because they take up a ton of space, but I feel like they are an essential kitchen tool. And then after I use the salad spinner, I put the lettuce on a clean tea towel and then put a towel over that and use that to dry the lettuce as much as possible. Because if that lettuce stays wet when you put it in the fridge, it will get soggy, and a soggy salad is pretty disgusting. But this works really well for prepping your lettuce ahead of time. It is a rare day that I buy ingredients specifically for a salad. Usually if I'm making salads, I just chop up whatever I have and turn it into some sort of salad. And on this particular day, I only have carrots, and I thought I had celery, but it turns out my celery was bad. So I am also peeling and chopping up carrots. Now, what I like to do when I am chopping vegetables like carrots or celery, for example, that are versatile and can be used in salads and soups and a lot of other meals, is I chop them into bite-sized pieces so that way, A, it's already done, but also it's just more versatile that way. A salad or soup tastes better when all of the ingredients are chopped really small and you can get a bite of all the ingredients in one spoon or forkful. So I try to keep that in mind when I am prepping it. For the week ahead, I know that it's going to be pretty busy and hard to do some meals because I have family coming into town. So I am also making a dinner that will pair with either a baked potato or a salad. And in this case, I am making a Cuban-style garbanzo bean stew. To cut back on costs, but also to increase the amount of prepared food that I have, I am making a pound of garbanzo beans in the Instant Pot. It's a pound of dry beans, so of course it'll weigh more once you cook it. And making beans in the Instant Pot is really easy, and it is the fastest way to make dried beans. So you just put the beans right in there, add about 8 cups of water, a little olive oil, salt, and some bay leaves, and then set the timer in this case for 40 minutes. This recipe is available over on my blog at moonandmagnolia.com. I have a bunch of quick one-pot meals, 30-minute meals, Instant Pot meals that you can check out over there that are great not just for busy weeknights, but also for Sunday meal prep. So I like to call this Cuban-inspired or Cuban-style because in a more traditional Cuban garbanzo bean stew, there would be chorizo, but I looked high and low around this town and I could not find chorizo anywhere. So I got sweet Italian sausage because it was the only thing I could find. But for this, you would use ideally chorizo, but some sort of sausage link like a sweet Italian sausage or a hot sausage, and then some smoked ham. I also had a really hard time finding smoked ham. It was $22 at the grocery store near my house. I ended up finding it for $10 at Sam's. So I am simply just cubing up the ham and slicing the sausage into little, almost like meatball size. And now I am sauteing some diced onion and green pepper in a little bit of avocado oil just for a few minutes until it starts to soften. I know a lot of recipes recommend putting the garlic in once the peppers and onions are done, but I have found that using the garlic at the very last minute is the best because if garlic burns, it does not taste good. So I am adding in the ham and the sausage and cooking that just until the sausage starts to brown. And then I am adding some minced garlic into the Dutch oven. I think I used 4 cloves. You could use as much or as little as you want. Once the garlic is aromatic, I am putting in about a half of a split of white wine. So one useful kitchen hack, especially if you don't drink white wine, is to keep little white wine splits around for cooking. It is a little more expensive per bottle that way, but I don't drink a lot of white wine. I'll drink red wine with you, but white wine's not my favorite, so that works best. Then I'm adding in some tomato sauce, smoked paprika, cumin, bay leaves, and letting this simmer for a few minutes. While that simmers, I am chopping up some potatoes. I am making these a little larger than bite size because potatoes do sort of dissolve and cook down. So if you chop them a little bit bigger, they end up being about the right size. And here are the garbanzo beans. So now I am also mashing up, I'd say around a half a cup to a cup of garbanzo beans and putting the mashed beans and the potatoes into the pot. Now, there was not enough liquid to cook all of this. So I added, I'd say probably about a cup and a half of water to this so that way the potatoes can cook and then also the broth can cook down as it simmers. This is a super easy and really delicious recipe that pairs great with salads, for example. So now that I have all this salad stuff prepared, I can eat it with that. If you only have enough for baked potatoes and no potatoes in the stew, you can leave the potatoes out and put this on a baked potato like some sort of delicious chili. It was so good. I did add some more chickpeas into the stew before I served it because I wanted some more in there and it was delicious. Now for the extra chickpeas, I'm just putting them in a bowl and we can put those on our salads. My 3-year-old loves chickpeas for a snack, so we have those to eat this week too. Last up on the Sunday meal prep is instant pot millet. So I like to make one thing that I can use this week, but then also that I can save in the freezer for later because I'm always trying to help out future me. So I am making a triple batch of millet in the Instant Pot. It is simply 1 cup of millet to 1 3/4 cups of water, and you cook it for 10 minutes, and that is it. A third of this I'm using this week for breakfast porridge and just for simple sides at dinner, and then the remainder I am freezing so I have it for later. Many of these recipes are available on my blog over at moonandmagnolia.com, and the easiest way to get them and to stay in the loop is to sign up for the email list. I will leave a link for that in the description box below. But when you're on the email list, you will get weekly updates and you will get all of my new recipes, videos, and posts directly in your inbox. When it comes to Sunday prep, I really think that simplicity is key. It's a lot to prep all these foods and ingredients and meals in one day. Yes, it makes life easier during the week, but it's still a lot of work in that one day. Simple really makes it manageable, but it also makes it versatile throughout the week. I hope these ideas have inspired you to prep a little bit of food and meals on your Sunday, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and I will see you again next time.